1.25 million, highest grossing gate in the arena's history. We beat the Rolling Stones. They had the record since 2012. Fight of the night was Islam and Poirier. And then performance of the night was Holland and Islam. They all won 50,000. Congratulations. Actually, yeah, Islam wins 100,000.
Obviously, you gave it fight of the night, so you were impressed. But give us your thoughts on that main event.
Yeah, incredible fight. I mean, both guys dug deep. Absolute war. Islam is tough as hell and talented. And he ate some big body shots tonight, took that elbow to the forehead. And I thought that Poirier did an unbelievable job of stuffing takedowns and getting up when he was in nasty positions, staying out of that submission in the first round. Just, you couldn't ask more for a main event title fight.
Yeah, you know, I think going into this fight, the talk was maybe, we've seen Dustin in these type of fights before.
Right.
He's going to get taken down, choked out or something like that.
Well, the big question tonight was, what did he learn from the Khabib fight? I mean, after that fight, he was horrified. He said, I couldn't believe, how I couldn't do anything against him. And he's going in against the protege guy who, fights exactly like him. And obviously, he worked hard on the takedown, defense, and getting back up from the bottom.
And for him to show that sort of heart, right, he's getting taken down. He's been in that position before against Khabib, but to not quit on himself and to keep fighting, you couldn't really ask for more from him tonight.
I agree. And going into this fight, it's he knew what to expect. He knew exactly what to expect, and I'm sure they worked on that a lot in their camp, but you'll have to ask him about that. But he looked great. It was an awesome fight.
Yeah, it's fun. He did say in the cage that he thinks this might be it. Do you think he should walk away if he's talking like that, or do you think Dustin has more to offer the sport, and you never know, he might be able to climb back to another title fight in the future?
Well, I think last time that we got together and talked after his fight, we were talking about Saint Denis and how he sort of flipped out. And, I say this all the time. Fighters are a very paranoid bunch, They're trying to get me beat or they're trying to do this. We don't do anything. We put on fights. Whether you win or lose is up to you. And I think that Dustin, coming out of that Saint Denis fight, had to have a lot more confidence than he had going in. We put you in these positions to do great things and achieve greatness. And he was that close tonight, coming back and possibly winning a world title.
Would you like to see him fight again?
It's up to him. It's not up to me. It's up to him. He knows what he wants, doesn't want. He knows how he felt. He knows how he feels right now. That's all up to him. Listen, he's a star. He can stay around here as long as he wants to.
Co-main event, Sean Strickland beat Paulo Costa. There was kind of a weird judges' scorecard in there. They gave it to Paulo, I think.
It wasn't weird. It was fucking nuts is what it was. It's insane. That guy should never ref a big fight again. They should kick him back down to the minor leagues and let him work on his judging. It's unbelievable. I mean, how anybody who isn't an absolute fucking lunatic could call that fight a split decision. I don't even know what to say about that. It's insane. That guy shouldn't be judging big fights.
What did you think of Sean Strickland's performance? He said he wanted to do more, but Paulo was running away from him and he couldn't engage in him. What did you think of his performance?
Yeah, I mean, it's not the fight I expected. I mean, every time you see Paulo Costa in a fight, it's a war. He usually goes to war. But you could tell tonight he couldn't get off. Brilliant kicking that leg the way he did. Strickland's tough as hell. Was eating those leg kicks, all night. Has he been in here yet? No? Yeah, I'm wondering how he's walking because, I haven't heard anything. But he did some big damage to that front leg. And, I thought he fought a beautiful, perfect fight. I mean, he's a very awkward guy to fight and how he throws those teep kicks and his hands are so good. He's very elusive and beautiful jab. And he basically picked Costa apart and shut him down.
And for Paulo, on the broadcast, Joe Rogan said he feels that Paulo hasn't been the same since he lost to Israel, and he maybe have lost a bit of confidence and doesn't fight the way he used to. Do you agree with that assessment, or do you think maybe Paulo's just trying to find different ways to fight?
No, I think that I expected him to come in and turn it into a street fight eventually. Maybe they had my thought process in the first 2 rounds, I was like, okay, they have a game plan that he's sticking to. He's chopping that front leg, trying to get him, and then he's going to turn this into an absolute street fight, and the street fight never came. I think that Strickland was way too unorthodox for him and kept that jab in his face and kept pressure on him basically the same way he did Izzy.
Dan right here. Joe Rogan on the broadcast called Islam the perfect lightweight, and they're just the size, his style of fighting, just his fight IQ. I'm curious, like, where do you rank him in this pantheon of lightweights that we've seen over the years?
Yeah, I think he's, one of the greatest of all time. I don't think I think he's incredible. I don't think he's the pound for pound best fighter in the world. For anybody to call Islam the pound for pound best fighter in the world when John Jones is still fucking fighting is nuts and shouldn't be ranking in the pound for pound or doing any of the fucking rankings ever, if that's what you really think. John Jones has never lost a fight ever. He's fought all the baddest dudes in the world. And then when you think about what pound for pound rankings really mean, he moved it up to heavyweight and destroyed the best guy in the world. As long as John Jones is still fighting, active, and in the rankings, yeah, nobody's pound for pound best fighter in the world.
Well, to kind of go off that, Islam said he wanted that second belt. He wanted to go to welterweight. Is that something that, I know you have that welterweight title fight coming up. Is that something maybe you'll discuss with him, or do you want him to stick at lightweight?
I don't know. I mean, he hasn't said anything like that to us, so we'll see.
What did you make of the referee stoppage in the Kevin Holland, Michelle Olachechik?
I think it was a good stoppage. When the guy's arm is going this way, but it's that way, yeah, you should probably stop the fight. I mean, and even Kevin Holland came over and said to me, I don't want to break the guy's arm, but Jesus Christ, he's tough. You know what I mean? And I respect that, the guys that don't tap. But if you don't tap and that's happening to your arm, it's. I think that the ref needs to step in and stop the fight so you don't do permanent damage to the guy. He wasn't getting out of that, and it wasn't getting any better.
You obviously unveiled the new gloves today. Pretty much all the fighters except for Sean had glowing reviews. Sean wasn't the biggest fan of them, but have any of them talked to you about the design or what they liked about it, what they didn't like about it?
No, I haven't heard anything yet. We'll see in the next few days what people thought of them.
And unrelated to this, you announced a bunch of fights for the Abu Dhabi card. I think the most notable one is the return of Nick Diaz. So I guess what went into that? And I guess a lot of people, surprised Nick was coming back, surprised he was in Abu Dhabi, and surprised he settled on Vicente Luque. So what went into that booking?
Yeah, he came to us and said that he wanted to fight. He was texting me and wanted to meet. And what the hell just were we? We were down St. Louis. He was going to be there, wanted to meet. Hunter got together with him, and they ended up getting a deal done.
Kevin Holland said he was the original opponent, but he didn't want to wait until August. Is that true, or did he give a list of fighters?
Yeah, I mean, we're always throwing people at Kevin Holland all the time. And, I don't know if that is true, but it probably is. If Kevin said it, then it's true. I've never heard Kevin make any shit up, so it must be true.
Last one for me. After Tony Ferguson's last fight, you said you wanted him to retire.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have another fight with Michael Case. Is this going to be it for Tony Ferguson, win or lose?
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I would like to see him retire. Yeah.
Dan right here.
Yep.
Just to go back to Islam, he's now on a 14-fight winning streak, which is the third longest in history behind Anderson Silva and Usman. What would it take for him to surpass John Jones in your mind for that pound-for-pound number one?
I mean, when you think about what pound for pound really means, right? He fought Volkanovski, who's a weight class lower than him. John Jones beat everybody at light heavyweight, then beat the best heavyweight in the division like it was nothing at a higher weight class.
So I mean,
John Jones is absolutely positively the pound for pound best fighter in the world, probably the greatest fighter of all time in any sport. When you talk about who's the baddest dude in the world, you put two guys in a room and who walks out, John Jones walks out of the fucking room every time. No question about it.
yeah. And in no way trying to diminish John's accomplishments, but he's
But
he's fought once in the last however many years. Islam's fighting multiple times a year, defending. So at what point does activity outweigh John's?
Beautiful. I like that you asked that question. Let's talk about activity. 3 years off. Nobody, not even Ali, nobody's ever come from 3 years off and looked the same. John Jones walked through the number one guy in the heavyweight division like it was nothing with 3 years off. Yeah, John Jones is the best ever. Ever. And when I say ever, I mean in any combat sport. He's the best ever. You throw John Jones in a room with anybody, John Jones walks out of the room.
John's saying he's fighting Stipe November 9th in New York. Is that fine?
I love it.
Yeah, nothing's official yet, though, obviously.
Yeah, I'm in.
Great. And Donald Trump was here again tonight. I know he's had a very crazy week and everything. Was there any hesitation maybe bringing him for this particular event, given everything that happened in the past few days?
Any hesitation for him to do what? Come?
Yeah, just make this type of public appearance.
I don't know. How do you think it went tonight?
It seemed like the crowd loved him.
Yeah. probably a good idea to show up tonight.
And one more, next month, the Hall of Fame is happening. Anderson Silva versus Chael Sonnen will go in there, and they're doing a boxing match like 12 days before that. Are you expecting them to both be in attendance after they do that boxing match?
Say that to me again. Who's boxing?
Anderson Silva and Chael Sonnen are doing a boxing match in Brazil 12 days before their Hall of Fame induction.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No, I had no idea.
Who do you think wins first reaction?
Boxing? I would have to go with Anderson Silva on the boxing match, yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, Anderson wanted to do MMA and Chael wanted to do boxing.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. He wants what?
He wants to box Jorge Masvidal after Anderson Silva. Yeah. Speaking of boxing, Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul is delayed. I know you're close with Mike. I guess, are you happy that they're looking out for his health in that instance? And do you even think it should be rescheduled, period, given this ulcer flare-up?
100%. Yeah, obviously I know a lot about it, but I'm not going to talk about it publicly. Yeah, you know. Yeah. For the first time probably ever in my life, I have no comment on something. That's Mike's world, and you know he gets pissed at me every time I talk about that stuff. Good for him, and they'll figure it out.
Dana right here. Kind of sticking with the middleweight theme that was tonight. Any progress on the middleweight title fight? Is it Dricus versus Izzy, nearing the finish line, so to speak?
Yeah, we're working. Obviously, when it's done, we'll let you know.
Thanks.
Yep.
You earlier were mentioning that you wanted to see what happens with Bilal and Leon Edwards. We're going to get that done. Whatever happens if Bilal gets hurt and Islam does want to step in against against Edwards, excuse me, do you actually think that would ever happen? Would you try and book that if he's healthy and Bilal gets hurt, say?
Well, like you're saying, like he was just saying a minute ago when he was talking about Islam, Islam has accomplished a lot of things in that division. He's done some incredible stuff. I don't know. We'd have to get in and talk about it, look at it, and I don't know.
So you're not adverse then to say book him a title fight if the situation was right, you think?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the guy has accomplished a lot in his career and obviously in this division. And yeah, we'll look at it.
Dana, you spoke about, the crowd a little bit. The first time you guys been here since 2019.
Yeah.
Just what was your overall thoughts of just the energy? And
This place was incredible, man. It was awesome. This place was buzzing all night. They were waiting for something to happen. Yeah, jerseys. So tonight, the arena bought me this board, and it's all the fights in order that have been in New Jersey. And what's incredible is the first fight in Jersey was in 2000. Me and the Fertittas were there looking at, the UFC at the time. Then we come back in 2001 at the Taj Mahal. We come back to the Taj Mahal for the second fight, and then the third fight is at the Meadowlands. So it's kind of cool to see the posters all laid out and think about, basically 25 years ago, how, we were at the first one here in Jersey. So Jersey's always been good to us, and it's always fun to come back here. Thanks.
Hey, Dana. Jailton Almeida said he wants to face Cyril Gane in September. Is it a fight that interests you?
I don't know. I don't even think about this stuff until we get back to the office and get back in the war room and start talking.
But the initial idea to Paris, it's something like Cyril Gane, or do you don't?
I don't know. Anything's possible. I off the top of my head right here, right now, I couldn't tell you who's going to fight Cyril Gane next or what's going to happen next.
So, okay. And what did you think about the performance of Jailton?
Yeah, look good. Great fight. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Dana, right here.
What's up, bro?
Kevin Holland has been a guy, like you said, you throw names at him all the time. Tonight he put out, an awesome performance. It was a short notice fight too. What's his value been like to the company, and what do you think about his performance tonight?
Listen, I like him very much personally. We have a great relationship, and he's fun to watch, He goes in and puts on fun, entertaining fights all the time. Gets dropped, it's on his back, defends, and then gets him in the armbar and finishes the fight with the armbar. He's always fun and exciting to watch.
Definitely. And this one was kind of surprising. After the unanimous decision victory for Eileen Perez, She came back here and actually said that she was ready for a full-fledged 5 rounds if need be with Kayla Harrison. What are your reactions to that?
I love it. I love when people talk like that. I love when that's their attitude. I love when they want to step up and take opportunities and go after the big dogs. It's good stuff. Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Islam Makhachev recently said that he had remained only one opponent in lightweight. It's Arman Tsarukyan. So can you tell me, is there any single chance that you can organize this match, this fight in Russia? No, nowhere. Makhachkala, Moscow, St. Petersburg.
Who?
Islam Makhachev, Arman Tsarukyan.
In Russia?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the fight to make. I mean, that's the fight. That's the fight everybody wants to see. That's the fight that needs to happen. You know, when we were talking earlier about him moving up, I mean, if I was him, I wouldn't even think about moving up till he had that fight. But I don't know about having that fight in Russia. I don't know where we would do it.
Politically, are you guys even able to have a card in Russia with the?
I have no idea. I have no clue. Cool. Have a good. Yeah.
Sorry, thank you. Do you continually think of who could be the next contender for the BMF title? And after what happened in the face-off, do you think Islam could eventually fight for the BMF?
We're working on the BMF title right now. Yes, but you know, Islam is you know one of the greatest fighters in the world ever in that division, and one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters in the world. So I don't think he'd be fighting for the BMF, but you know, the Tsarukyan fight is what we like. That's the fight we want to do.
And last question, from a businessman point of view, what do you think on the whole ADCC and Craig Jones invitational situation going on? Do you think it's a smart business move?
I don't know anything about it.
That he booked the submission tournament the same day as ADCC and made like a lot of different prices in terms of money for the submission fighters.
Huh. Sounds good to me. I like it. I like his style.
Dana, just go.
Yep.
More. What you said about the BMF, that's in the works. Ilya Topuria said he wouldn't fight Max Holloway unless the BMF title was on the line. Is that something that like rubs you the wrong way, or is something?
No, it doesn't rub me at all. I love that people love that belt and want to fight for it. I love it.
What's the status of that? Are you guys working towards it?
Yeah, we're working on a lot of stuff right now. Obviously, we got, you know, we got the Sphere coming up. We got Madison Square Garden. You know, we got a lot of big fights coming up around that time, so we'll get it figured out.
Well, a big fight coming up is the next pay-per-view, Conor McGregor's return, of course. Great promo tonight, but we've seen in the past few days there's been like some footage coming out of him having some fun in the clubs and stuff. Does any of that concern you, like 4 or 5 weeks out from the fight?
Well, again, you and I, here we are. We were talking about John Jones. John Jones was doing a lot of that stuff too back in the day, and many other fighters throughout history. I don't know what's real on the internet and what's not real on the internet. I don't know timing-wise. And one of them, he's got a beard, and one of them, he doesn't have a beard. And I have no idea. I don't know if any of that's real or true or whatever. But you know, Conor's not a dumb guy, and you know, this is obviously a big fight for him. He's calling it the best comeback in the history of sports and all that stuff. So we'll see what happens. I'll actually be with him tomorrow. So I'm flying there right now. Yeah. So I'll see what's going on.
Yeah. What do you think that scene's going to be like on Monday in Dublin?
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited to be going back to Ireland, and I love the people over there. There's always great energy. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Dana, far left.
Yep.
You're far left. Working with WWE a little more closely over the past couple months, I mean, you've had so much success with UFC, WrestleMania. They've been on a hot streak too. Have you been able to work with them, learn from them at all, or has it been more separate? You're with UFC and less with WWE.
It's very separate. I haven't worked with them at all. I do what I do, and they do what they do. They're using some of the people from my team to help them in different areas, you know, business-wise. But as far as putting on live events, I mean, WWE is very good at what they do, and we're very good at what we do. And, you know, that's about as far as it goes with me.
It is significant to have a former president here, someone running for president as well. But I think that politics aside, the part of the relationship that gets maybe less heralded is the loyalty. like you talk about Jersey, the Trump relationship. What you guys have been connected since the '90s.
Well, it's like what we were just talking about when the Jersey the arena here brought me all the fights in line. I wish I had it here. I'd show it to you. But all the fights that have happened in Jersey, and the first one Bob Meyerowitz owned, and that was in 2000. Me and the Fertitta brothers went to that fight and sat in the crowd and watched it, and then we went to another fight too in New Orleans, and then in 2001 we bought the company. So the first fight on there is the one that we were at watching, looking at the company. The next one is at the Trump Taj Mahal, which Trump, hooked us up. The second one is at the Trump Taj Mahal, and then we left the Taj and went to the Meadowlands. So, yeah, I mean, me and Trump have been friends since 2001.
And finally, just as a Boston guy, any prediction for the NBA Finals?
What's that?
NBA Final prediction: Celtics Mavericks.
I'm going to Game 1. I'll be at Game 1, and obviously I'm rooting for the Celtics, and I strongly believe this is their year. Yeah, thank you.
Dana,
Yep.
real quick. So the NBA media rights has been like really like kind of like out in the open and kind of public. Yeah, right here.
Hey.
Sorry. So like the NBA media rights have been really kind of out in the open and in the public. So I guess for you guys when you're up next year, like, do you think that process will be like kind of like out in the open, or will it be kind of behind closed doors?
Do I think that what will happen? Yeah. I do not think it will be a public conversation. No. I don't ever really talk about money publicly or do any of that stuff. So, is that the poster? Here, give me that poster. So check this out. So this fight right here was the fight that me and the Fertittas went to. That was here in Jersey, the first one. This one here was our first fight at the Taj. This was our second fight at the Taj, and this one here was the Meadowlands. So this is where we're looking at it, thinking about buying it. This is after we do the first two with Trump, and then we moved to the Meadowlands, which was obviously a much bigger arena. But this thing's huge. They have a huge one for me, and it's framed, and it's awesome. I love it. You guys done with me? Who we got?
Hi, Dana.
Hi.
There was the report that Habib's brother Usman was escorted by the Secret Service from the arena.
What happened?
Еще раз по-русски скажи.
Там ходили новости, что брат Хабиба Усман был с арены проведен Secret Service.
There was news about the fact that Usman Nurmagomedov, Habib's brother, was actually escorted from the arena by the Secret Service. Is that true or not?
Is it?
Yeah, no, what happened was he was in the right here. He was in the fighter section behind the cage, and when Islam got the finish, he jumped over the barrier and jumped into the cage, and then security escorted him.
So there you go. Did you hear that? He jumped over the cage after the fight, which you can't do, and security escorted him out.
Понял, он перепрыгнул через
Yeah, you can't do that. Yeah. What do you got?
Данный вопрос от российских медиа. Если представить, что турнир все-таки состоится в России, вы бы хотели, чтобы его посетил Путин, как сегодня посетил Трамп?
Question from Russian media: if, let's say, hypothetically, the fight does take place in Russia, would you like for Putin to come to see the fight, much like Trump came to see the fight today? President Putin.
It's funny because any president of a country that comes to a fight, obviously we'd be blown away and honored to have, at any of our fights. So yes, obviously, if it was in Russia, yeah, it would. I'm sure the president of the country would be more than welcome to come.
Это всегда очень круто, когда президент страны, в которой происходит бой, приходит на события. Поэтому, конечно же, если будет в России и Путин в это время будет президентом, почему бы нет? Конечно, было бы очень круто, если он придет на наше событие.
Have a great night. Thanks, Jersey.